And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, marketing, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, we want you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372.
Here's my number, so call me maybe.
And we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win. And it's consumer advocate-based content helping you understand more about your buying decisions. All types of different things happening. There's so much commission-based advice and commission breath floating around out there. We want to be different. In 5 years on air, we've proven that we are. So we've got an all-star lineup for you today. Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me. Back in studio, our legal contributor, Attorney Jason Coble. Welcome in.
Hey, thanks again, Brandon. Always a pleasure to be here.
Hey, my pleasure. What do you want to talk about today, bud?
Well, today I'd like to talk about the importance of your medical doctors when you have personal injury case, workers' comp case, or any kind of injury case. The opinions of your medical doctors oftentimes make or break a case. And today I have Mr. Dr. LaRocca to my right, who I use for my personal injury cases, who's got a great history that he's going to share. And it's just a very important topic that I'd like to share with everybody.
Yeah, awesome. Consumer advocate content there. Dr. Michael LaRocca making his debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We were talking before the show about 40 or 50 years in the business.
Correct. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate being here. And it goes by very quickly. You say 50 years, it sounds like a long time, but I can just remember like day one, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And it just makes us pause from time to time to appreciate what we do have and where we've come from when we're looking to go to and so on.
Yeah. It's a lot of changes I'm sure you've seen over your career as well.
Definitely. We definitely have experienced that. I've been in the Clearwater area for 41 years. And prior to that was in New Jersey practicing, as you can hear by my regional accent, for 9 years. And we moved down here with my family, my wife, and 3 children at that time, for the weather.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that day by day, sitting at the poolside, and especially in January and February, I said, this is wonderful. I'm still so glad that I had made the move.
Nice. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for coming in today. Also, Akash Patel in studio. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me, Brendan. It's good to see you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Running for county commissioner, that is, holding up the flyer here. So you've been pretty busy, huh?
Campaign is almost 12 months in.
Nice. Wow.
It's exciting. I think we need some young, diverse leadership in our county government. It's time for change from business leaders. As you see, it's a trend for business people now to run for public office, and I hope to be one of the new ones. Yeah,
that's awesome. Good stuff. You also have your company, Elevate, which is a Florida-based strategic business consulting firm providing a multitude of services.
That's right. Yeah, we work with companies that relocate their headquarters, and as you know, the economy is growing, people are buying, and people are moving here. And when they move here, they want to get involved and give back. And so we kind of assist with that kind of efforts.
Right. Awesome. That's great stuff. I'm looking to dive deeper into that and, talk about some of the different issues that you see facing Tampa Bay. I think transportation is probably top of the list and some good stuff here. So Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to talk to you about a cool event as well we got coming up. We got a really cool event happening on June 21st, Thursday the 21st, over at Fire Station number 5 here in Tampa Bay. My business partner, Ken Shamrock, a.k.a. the world's most dangerous man, going to be back in town, and we are hosting an event here to raise money for Tampa Bay's youth. It's benefiting the Ian Beckles Foundation. It's going to be a great lineup, a keynote speech from Ken, story time with Ken, and we're going to have Ian Beckles in the house. It's going to be a live radio show broadcast of the Consumer Quarterback Show as well. We're going to have Ian Beckles, Ken Shamrock on the show at 5 o'clock. Some of our other radio show partners and personalities will be on site as well. It's going to be great. Food, appetizers are going going to be provided. And check out the Eventbrite page. Just look up the word Shamrock, and you'll see $15 early bird specials. You get one drink
That's
included with that. Yeah, that's it. $15 early bird. You get one drink included. You get food. And we're just looking to raise as much money as we can. We're going to have a 50-50 drawing there. So we're looking to raise some money for the troubled youth here in the Hillsborough County area.
It's a great cause and a great price.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah, so hopefully we get about 150 people or so there. Going to have a lot of fun. And we want to give a shout out and plug our sponsor here, Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. That's our official restaurant partner, and we'd love for you to support them. And all you have to do, they've got a special offer going right now for the fans of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All you have to do is walk into Brio Tuscan Grill, let them know that you heard the Consumer Quarterback Show on air, you heard this offer, and you're going to get hooked up with a free appetizer just by mentioning the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're talking about some great food here. They've got calamari, spicy shrimp, and eggplant is to die for. Excellent food. They got beef carpaccio, excellent service, very friendly staff, and also signature drinks available at Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza here in Tampa Bay. And as you know, I'm your host of the show, Brandon Rhymes. I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. We're looking to recruit real estate agents to our team as well. But we've got a couple of hot properties that I want to let you know about. We just listed this property, 3911 West Euclid Avenue in South Tampa. This is in one of the best districts for schools. You got middle school is Coleman, you got the high school is Plant. 3911 West Euclid Avenue in Tampa. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, and it's in the Belmar area. $840,000. We just hit the market. A beautiful 2-story home and too many upgrades to list here, but a great buying opportunity there at Euclid. Also got a beautiful property over to the beach. I'm taking you over to the beaches here now. We got 12091 145th Street in Largo. This is a great buying opportunity. It's not in a flood zone, and it's literally just minutes from the beach. 12091 145th Street in Largo is a great buying opportunity. We're having an open house there this weekend as well. So PlatinumMVPRealty.com for all of your real estate needs. You can search online. You can do a home valuation. PlatinumMVPRealty.com. All right, let's jump right into this great content. We've got all-star lineup here. I want to get as much talk time with our guest as we can. So we've got attorney Jason Coball, back in studio. We're talking about, what I love about the show and how it works well with your model is that we both want to protect consumers. We're in it to protect the consumers. You have sometimes what turns into an adversarial relationship with your insurance companies, so you end up thinking you got somebody on your team and then you start fighting amongst your team, so what are you seeing out there, and how do you see this area affecting our consumers?
Well, as far as personal injury goes, I have Dr. LaRocca here. Of course, like I said in the past, I do workers' comp, where you get injured on the job, you have to go to the insurance company's doctors.
Right.
And that's actually the employer's insurance carrier as opposed to yours. However, you get injured in a personal injury accident, say a car accident. The first $10,000 is covered through each person's PIP. And you actually have the ability, through your lawyer or yourself, to choose your doctor. And that's where Dr. LaRocca's facility, he has 10 facilities actually, comes in handy. It's like a family-owned business, and he's had success for decades. And it's just so critical that you get your clients to a treating physician who understands the system, is meticulous to details, and is able to communicate with my staff and get the best possible outcome for my clients. And also, of course, making sure they get the treatment that they deserve and require due to the accident. So, his role in my case is essential, and that's just the way it goes. I mean, the damages are assessed on the damages are the injuries that stem from the accident,
right?
And that's derived from the medical opinions from the doctors, and this guy's the best.
Sure, yeah, it makes sense. And when you said earlier, you said PIP, that's the personal injury protection.
Correct.
Personal protection that the motorist may have. Now, what if they're uninsured motorist?
Right. Great point. The PIP is your insurance.
Okay.
After that is exhausted, and your PIP will pay 80% up to $10,000. Once that $10,000 is reached, then you look to the bodily injury of the at-fault driver. Now, sometimes the legal minimum in Florida is $10,000 property, $10,000 PIP. That means the legal minimum is no BI. If that happens, then you need uninsured motorists. That's why I always recommend to your listeners, get uninsured, underinsured motorists. It protects you in that situation.
On your policy.
Yes, on your
Yeah,
policy.
right.
And
As
they
a
have to, by
rider.
law, they have to ask you at least once a year.
And all these things are confusing for consumers because it's a separate rider that you have to purchase.
Right.
So if they're shopping rate, if they're saying, "Oh, well, I got, my bills are so hard, I got to get the lowest possible rate," then they're going to be skimping in some of these coverages that ultimately could hurt them.
That's absolutely right. That's dangerous in Florida because the legal minimum doesn't require BI. So if you don't have it, I see a lot of people get the short end of the stick because of that. It's a big mistake.
Especially this time of year. This is when the roads start getting wet. A lot of the oil residues on the roads are making it more slick. You got more high school kids that are just got their permits back on the road because they're out of school. This is the time that a lot of accidents happen.
Absolutely. And even even if someone does have a small BI policy, the UM will cover, say they only have 10,000. You have a spinal injury. Those injuries, they're very difficult to treat, very expensive to treat. 10,000 isn't going to cover it.
Yeah.
So whether they don't have any or they don't have enough, that's what UM is for.
Well, when we come back, I want to talk to you about this 14-day rule. There's a very important, law out there that says you have to be reporting these injuries within 14 days. So we're going to talk about that with attorney Jason Cobal. We're going to bring in Dr. Michael LaRocca as well. Going to get his opinion from a medical perspective of how to document the proper way to be positioned to win when it comes to that scenario. And coming up as well, Akash Patel later in the show as well. Now, we got an interesting story for our feel-good story of the week. Truck driver leaves waitress $2,000 tip on Mother's Day. Stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, published author and professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves, part one of the business that we've launched here with Ken Shamrock, Des Woodruff as well. It's the Business Growth Celebrity Academy, so more on that at our event. Come to the event on the 21st, June 21st. Really cool event that we have going on over at Fire Station number 5. Going to be a lot of fun. So we're back here in studio. I want to give a shout out to Mary Maids. Our official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Mary Maids. Satisfaction is guaranteed when you utilize Mary Maids to clean your home or office. Relax, it's done. Welcome to your clean home. And they are the recipients of the Women's Choice Award, America's most recommended cleaning services. It's Mary Maids, our official partner. All right, we're back here in studio. We're helping you win in any marketplace. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here. Compliments of our premier sponsor, Platinum MVP Realty, 9825 Wilski Boulevard in Tampa. This is a $1.5 million home just outside of West Chase, and it's a beautiful property, very private. You've got a large gate up front. You've got water in the back, a big lake in the back. Privacy on both sides because you got vacant land. So you've got a very cool estate-style, updated, beautiful home here at 9825 Wilski Boulevard. $1.5 million is the asking price on that. So we would love for you to reach out and talk to you a little bit more about that. Now, I want to take you over to the old northeast section of St. Petersburg. This is another $1.4 million home that we have listed. It's 215 12th Avenue Northeast in St. Petersburg. Pre-construction, SIPS panel designed construction. It's going to be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So it's a $1.399 million property, compliments of Platinum MVP Realty. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com for all of our listings and the real estate photography as well by Fabre Frameworks, one of our expert contributors on the Quarterback Show. All right, so let's go back to attorney Jason Coble. We were talking about some of the misconceptions, this 14-day rule that came into effect. And then later also, I want you to touch on that change that was enacted in Tallahassee to allow for witnesses, first responders, I believe, to have coverage for mental, not just physical. Right. So some of these things are changing. It looks like we're moving in the right direction in a lot of these, in some of the legislation.
Yep, definitely steps in the right direction. With respect to the 14-day rule, it's very important to any car accident case. You have $10,000 in PIP, assuming you meet the 14-day deadline. From the time of an accident, you only have 14 days to get to an MD, to get to a doctor, to be able to observe
diagnose.
Diagnose that you have objective findings of an injury related to the accident. If you establish that within the 14 days, you get the $10,000. If you don't, you only get $2,500. So that's a big difference. I mean, whether you're looking at $2,500 of coverage or $10,000. And that's what's so great. One of the many reasons why I use Dr. LaRocca is I know his staff is Johnny on the spot. If I get a new client, I coordinate with them. Next thing you know, poof, that 14 days never missed. That deadline. So very important, critical deadline that you want to make sure you don't miss.
So, Doc, I want to bring in Dr. Michael LaRocca here. So, Doc, when you receive these referrals or these folks that are coming in, what's the first thing you do, or how's that process look and feel?
Well, essentially, the patient, as in any office, has to fill out an intake form. There's an 8-page form that we have that explains their injuries, their past histories as well. We want to be aware of that. And from that point, once they come into the examining room, we're going to be doing a physical examination. Chiropractically, it's a spinal examination as opposed to doing blood pressure and heart rate and so on. We have our 3 MDs on staff that do that portion of the examination. But the chiropractic examination is called palpation. We're going to be touching different levels of the spine, and we're asking the patient to share with us if it's tender, if it's painful, and we record all of that. We go through ranges of motion as well. Once that's completed, that'll give us an idea of what areas of the spine we want to take an x-ray of. In our office, we have digital x-rays, so it's instant viewing of the pictures. And we show the patient their x-rays as soon as the series of x-rays are taken. most places, the patient never sees the x-ray. They're told this is okay, this is only a strain sprain, especially when the patients go to the hospital. They take a series of x-rays. They might even have MRIs and CAT scans and say, no, everything's okay, just a sprain the muscle. If it bothers you, go see somebody about it, which is a bad recommendation, to tell you the truth. A lot of times insurance companies will downplay the velocity, the speed of the vehicle hitting their client's vehicle. People don't realize that let's say the average car of 3,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm. When
that strikes a standing vehicle, especially a stopped vehicle, is about 5,000 pounds per square inch of force that goes to the patient.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a 3,000 pound vehicle striking the client. You have 15,000 pounds essentially of force going through the occupant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 5 miles an hour. 5 miles an hour times 3,000 pounds per square inch. That's 15,000 pounds of force going through the occupant.
Yeah.
Perhaps no damage to the vehicle whatsoever, not even a scratch. But the insurance company says it's too slow. You can't possibly have an injury.
Mm.
You know, the term whiplash comes from the whiplash breaking the sound barrier. That's why you hear that snapping sound going on. And the patient's neck especially is going to be moving through space within 0.04 of 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
The head moves forward, comes whipping backwards, and then finally comes to a stop. The use of seatbelts, though it saves lives, because we don't have occupants hitting their heads on the roof of the vehicle, going through the windshield.
Right.
But it creates a greater whiplash type of injury because that vehicle, the seatbelt, once it engages, it stops you.
Yeah.
So you're part of the car. People don't realize the occupant is part of the vehicle.
Right.
The only thing that's hanging out is the head above that. So when the person struck this in the back, a stopped vehicle, the mechanics of it, the body moves forward, the head telescopes goes upwards, and then comes backwards, and then when the seatbelt finally engages, it comes backwards.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So a normal curve should be on curve to the front about 40 degrees of an angle. What happens is it telescopes upwards, comes backwards, and then forwards again. And these muscles in the front of the person's neck are very skinny muscles.
Right.
Where the muscles in the back of the neck are very powerful and strong. So what happens is the back muscles contract and it makes a flattening of the neck.
Yeah.
Very, very typical, regardless of the age, by the way, of children as well as adults, coming from a normal 40 degrees curve. 95% of the time we're seeing a 0 degree curve, completely flat.
Wow.
The other portion was seeing people's actually neck reversing itself. What people don't realize is your spinal cord's inside there.
Right.
It has certain motions going through. Now, what happens when the neck is flat? What happens when the neck is reversing itself? You're putting stress on the spinal cord. Also, what we don't talk about is the meninges. Not to get too complicated, but the meninges is a very thin veil of tissue surrounding the brain and spinal column.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It is sensitive. It is not supposed to be stretched. It's so when the spine becomes out of balance, the meninges are also irritated. The whole process goes on to joint irritation, soft tissue, which is muscles, ligaments, tendons, sensory nerves are irritated, and though the person may not have raging symptoms, there's damage. Another thing I'd like to mention also is most of the time, people are concerned with the musculoskeletal symptoms, especially insurance company. Neck pains, mild, medium, short back, and so on. But people need to understand, the consumer needs to understand that from the base of the neck to the tailbone is only 31 pair of nerve openings. That means all nerves in the brain to supply every organ, hormone, enzyme, every portion of the body has to come out of 31 pair of nerve openings. From all parts of the body back into the same 31 pair of nerve openings to tell the brain what's going on.
Yeah.
All right?
Is that where you see some of these delayed responses? Is that a force of that?
Exactly right. It's called late effects of an injury.
Right.
And we share that in the first visit with the patient. Even though you're having some neck discomfort at this particular point, you need to understand, and don't be frightened if you wind up having some visual disturbances. If you're having pins and needles in hands, fingers, toes, strange sensation and so on, it's nothing more than the continuation of swelling of tissue, irritating other nerve areas, and creating that set of symptoms for you.
Right.
The cause is still structural imbalance, and that's why you're here to take care of that. But let me go back for a second. There's 3 different types of nerve systems. 2 of them, one of them goes to muscle and bone, the neck ache, the backache situations. But out of the same nerve openings, you have nerves going to the organs of the body, what makes our heartbeat, which makes our respiration, digestion, all the different organic, subconscious, unconscious function of the body.
Circulation.
Those areas are also affected. So late effects and injury can be something organic.
Yep.
But insurance company-wise, they're looking at tunnel vision, neck ache, backaches.
That's right. Just and it's such a shame that they love to collect the premiums, but when it comes time to paying out, they're going to fight you. In a lot of cases, there are some good companies out there, of course, but as your consumer advocate and an activist, we want to make you understand, hey, sometimes you have to be prepared. You have to be willing to fight for what you know is right, what you think is right. And we want you working with attorney Jason Coble Law. He's one of our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, we have our feel-good story of the week. Truck driver leaves waitress $2,000 tip on Mother's Day, and more from our expert contributors. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break here.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. I want to give a shout out to our official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, which is the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. Beautiful place. If you haven't been there, you got to go check them out. And they offer a discount code for the Real Estate Quarterback Show. So fans of the Consumer Quarterback Show, all you have to do is call up the Hotel Zamora, let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and you're going to get hooked up with a 20% discount off of your room stay. Going to get a bottle of wine in your room upon arrival with a charcuterie platter as well. The Castile restaurant on site serves great food. They've got the rooftop 360 lounge. It's a great place to take in those awesome views of Tampa Bay and enjoy some weather here in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. And Platinum MVP Realty, we're real excited. We just opened up multiple offices in South Tampa. We've got an office on West Shore now. We're sharing an office with Ian Beckles over at his Dignitary brand headquarters. We have office on Henderson Avenue in South Tampa and also downtown on Ashley Drive as well. So we're expanding, we're growing, got our town and country office, and real excited about that. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team. We're looking for interns and actually hiring office staff right now as well due to explosive growth with our marketing. So we're real excited about the show. A lot of good things happening. Got the June 21st event coming up with Shamrock back in town. And we have our feel-good story coming up as well. We're going to tell you about this waitress receiving a $2,000 tip on Mother's Day. And we have an all-star panel here in studio. Attorney Jason Kobal in the house, Kobal Law. We've got Dr. Michael LaRocca and Akash Patel here. Let's talk to Akash now. So, Akash, you are super connected here in Tampa Bay, man. You got a lot of connections. You're in the know. And you're running as county commissioner, and you've got your business Elevate Inc., which is, initially I just kind of thought of it as kind of like a PR firm, but you do so much more with a multitude of services offering to business owners out there.
Yeah, and congratulations, Brandon, on your expansion in South Tampa. And that's really one of the reasons I wanted to run. I mean, I've worked and lived in Hillsborough County for 12 years in South Tampa in the same home, not far from one of your listings you were just talking about in Euclid. So last year I was sitting at a breakfast at the Glazer Children's Museum. I know you take your family there a lot. And one of the county commissioners, current county commissioners, Commissioner Merman, she had mentioned she was going to resign early and go to the district-wide seat. So I talked to my family, I talked to my clients, who are all business owners here in Hillsborough County and South Tampa, and they said, well, this is the time in your life to try to run for public office. And I said, you know what, if I have your support, I'll do it. And so I filed almost a year ago, June 1st, and it's been a whirlwind. I knock on doors every Saturday, and my district is, for those of you who don't know, West Chase, Town and Country, South Tampa, downtown Tampa, all the way to Apollo Beach, Sun City Center, and Ruskin area. So I was in Gibsonton last Saturday. We're going to be in Odessa this Saturday. But I knock on doors, Brandon, because I feel if you want to be a public servant, you have to have the business experience and you have to talk to the public. Yeah. And I think we've lost touch with that in today's society.
Wow. Yeah, my hat's off to you for that. Walking neighborhoods, knocking on doors. That's awesome, man. If I could get more of my real estate agents to do that,
they can come with me. We can
we need to together. Partner up on that. But yeah, so what do you stand for then? What are you looking to change? What do you think are some of the challenges happening in your district?
Well, thanks for asking that. My website is patel2018.com. That's PATEL 2018.com. And there's 4 main platform issues I'm talking about. Number one, you said it right when we started the show, transportation.
That's right.
I've never met someone who's moved here from out of town who's said, oh, you guys, traffic is easy. No. Yeah. We've had some traffic issues, whether you're taking the Veterans, 275, 60, it doesn't matter what highway you're taking, or even the Selman Expressway. We've had some bottleneck time issues on traffic. Yeah. So I want to help with that. The next one is education. You're a parent. I've met a lot of parents. They're knocking on doors. I've never met a parent who says they don't want their child to get a good education. Right. So I've worked a lot in the early learning space. The Governor Scott appointed me in 2014 to chair the Early Learning Coalition of Hillsborough County. So for those of you at home who don't know, our Hillsborough County has a $5 billion budget, 7 county commissioners. And we don't oversee the K through 12 system. That's the school board. But we can help where it comes in the early learning space, that's 0 through 4 age, and the after school space, right? Head Start, programs like that. And we need to invest in our children. I mean, you're a father, so you know them better than anyone. You mentioned you're expanding offices, economic development. Companies are relocating their headquarters here. On Monday of this week, Mosaic, a Fortune 500 company, is relocating their headquarters from Minnesota to Tampa, Hillsborough County. Mosaic endorsed me in my campaign. They've given me money for my campaign. But my point is they are relocating here because of all the reasons your folks are selling houses. Right. Quality of life, affordability, great access to education, to beaches. You mentioned the beaches, the hotels, all your partners. And the last one goes along with hospitality, tourism. Yeah. Tourism is our number one industry in Florida. 116 million tourists visit our state every year. 1,000 people a day move to Florida.
Yeah.
A third of those are in the Tampa Bay region.
Yeah.
So think about
I agree.
600,000 people, Brandon, will live in Hillsborough County in the next 6 years. We already have 1.4 million residents.
Yeah.
So why I'm running, and to your point, we need people who are going to work really hard to make sure that our community is planned strategically for the next 6 years.
Right. Yeah. There's so much that goes into zoning and land use and the real estate piece. When I think when realtors get into the business, they think, oh, I'm just going to sell a house, and they don't understand that there's the big picture as far as the land, the development, the land use, the future use, wetland delineations. Going back to transportation, wetland. The rain. That's a big issue when it comes to South Tampa. Certain areas there's a lot of flooding going on.
My car was flooded in 2015 when we had the floods here in August of 2015.
Yeah. And so man, you think about that, and I even think about Miami too. We talk about it sometimes here on the show. Is that they're already predicting that Miami is going to be underwater if this sea level rise things happens. And it's a lot of people agree that it is happening. So a lot of challenges here when it comes to just local growing this economy. Want to get your take on the high speed rail? Last time it came through, I think one of the problems is that it was positioned as the Obama administration kind of having too much control over the Tampa Bay market, and Florida in general. Maybe if the deal was restructured in a way that it didn't have so much federal government involvement or oversight. What's your take on that?
Yeah, rail is a great option for other cities. I don't think it's an option for us because of the way we are structured. Mm-hmm. I lived in Washington, D.C. Great for rail because it's hard to get around. London, another great for rail. I think what we had here in Hillsborough County is we had a lot of people who liked the concept of it, but they didn't know how to fund it, and they didn't know what route to take. What I mean by that is the vote that we had in the referendum in 2010, we had the Moving Hillsborough Forward referendum. As you talk to people who said, "Oh, I want to vote for a train," well, some people say the train's going to go from West Shore to downtown. Mm-hmm. Other people thought the train was going to go from Disney World, to South Tampa. I mean, so we've got to figure out, number one, if it's feasible.
Right.
Number two, if it's affordable. Mm-hmm. And number three, is it really going to help our commuters?
Right.
Because I think widening our roads, I think dedicated bus lanes, carpool lanes, something that's affordable, feasible, and impactful immediately.
Yeah.
The problem with rail is, it takes lots of time to build, and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And you don't always get your ROI. You saw that in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah, the ROIs, you got the, something like the Selman Expressway, where you have that one lane that's going to go, it's going to go this way during the mornings, it's going to go the other way at night, something along those lines. Because, when you're going east-west or you're going to Clearwater Beach, even though they just did that new bridge.
Yeah.
Man, so, all right, moving on from transportation. I know we could go on with that a lot. But
that's great points, though.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be debated. What do you see happening in the mayoral race? Who's going to be the next mayor? Do you have any idea how that's going to shake out?
It's funny. I met earlier today with David Straz, who's a philanthropist who's running for mayor. I've met with most of the candidates. Topher Morrison, Jane Castor, Chief of Police Jane Castor, Councilman Harry Cohen, and Councilman Mike Suarez. Those are the candidates so far that have declared, and I think they're all great candidates. My theory on this is that just the reason I'm running, we've got to find a leader who's going to continue the vision of Mayor Buckhorn. Now, I'm a Republican. I'm running on a Republican primary. As you know, you've had Mayor Buckhorn on the show. He's a Democrat, but he's pro Tampa. It says he's pro business and pro Tampa.
Right.
Now, I voted for him the second time around, and I'm going to tell you that he is going to have whoever replaces him is going to have a hard time to follow his legacy. And so we've got to. I haven't seen everyone's platforms. It's a little early. We're about a year out.
Yep.
March of 2019 is the election. But to answer your question, I think each of these candidates so far has to distinctly share how they're going to carry on the Mayor Buckhorn's legacy.
Right.
Because this economy has grown tenfold in the 8 years of Mayor Buckhorn.
Yeah. And that's what I see about, when you look at mayors versus the national race, the president, the mayor, on a local level. There was a really cool TED Talk that said why mayors should run the world.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I read that,
It talked about a lot about local control. The mayors, if there's potholes, they got to see their constituents as they're walking down the street. Why didn't you fix those potholes yet? So I think there's something to be said. And again, for the Republican, platform as well as local control. Less control in Washington, D.C., more local control on a local level.
Well, we as local candidates and local elected officials can see and talk and touch the local voter. And that is so important because we can implement a resolution or a decision, and 2 weeks later it gets implemented. In the legislature, it takes at least 90 days,
Right.
with all the committees and hearings and things like that. And in Congress, it might take 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And and I think we've had 7 county commissioners that we can elect. 4 of them have collectively been there 32 years.
Wow.
That's $1.5 million of our taxpayer salaries.
Yeah.
So our taxes are paying for these folks
Yeah.
to get things done. Now the question is, are they getting things done?
Right. Yeah. That's a whole nother issue is with term limits and limiting this long term. Lifelong politicians, that's a whole nother thing. Lifers, we got to shake it up. So, all right, stay with us here. More excellent content coming from the Consumer Quarterback Show from our expert contributors, attorney Jason Coble in the house, Dr. Michael LaRocca, and Akash Patel as well. He's running for the Hillsborough County Commission as well. And we have our feel-good story of the week, our truck driver who left a waitress a $2,000 tip on Mother's Day. We're going to talk about that and more when we come back. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. Giving a shout out to Chef Will Wagner, healthy meal delivery service. Chef Will and his team conveniently deliver organic meals to your home or office. We're talking about paleo, ketogenic, vegan, and gluten-free kids menus available. Chef Will Wagner, he's my chef, and he can be your family chef too. Find him on Instagram at Chef Will Wagner. All right, we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace all-star lineup today. Attorney Jason Coble in the house, Dr. Michael LaRocca, and also Akash Patel here in studio. And I want to jump into this feel-good story. Every week we're going to tell you something positive. Every single day we're bringing you positivity in our Tell Me Something Good segment.
Tell me something good.
All right, so the truck driver, he's leaving this waitress a $2,000 tip on Mother's Day. She's at a small diner in Roland, Oklahoma. She received a $2,000 tip from a Mississippi truck driver on Mother's Day. Brenda Pearson was working at the 4-star diner when a customer walked in and ordered 1 cheeseburger. When it was time to pay, he said he wanted to leave a surprise tip. The other customers were coming to pay out, and he said $1,000. Pearson told, I said, "What, are you serious?" He said, "Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't hardly breathe. That took my breath away." The act of kindness didn't end there. He came back for dessert an hour later and left another $1,000 tip. I have 2 children at home, said Pearson, who recently moved to Roland. I've been staying at home. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years, and it will help us get caught up and on the move, and it was just a godsend. News 5 tracker tracked down the customer and identified as David Platt. It was late. I was there. It wasn't really anybody around, so I got to talking to her a little bit. David said, we talked about the Lord and about her life and her children. I got the impression that she was having a hard time of it, so I thought I'd just help her out a little bit. Money is just paper or numbers on a screen, he said. Self-gratification only is so far. So when you're helping another person, you're adding something to their world, to the world. It's an investment in people. People are what's important. Awesome story.
Awesome story. Very different.
Really cool stuff. We love the random act of kindness here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And let's go ahead and jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
So we're talking top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Jason Coble, you're up first, sir.
Sure. It's a little off subject, but very important. Something I've noticed in all of my cases. If you're on social media and you have a car accident that you're in, litigation, you have a workers' comp case, so be careful about what you're putting on social media. I mean, I've had a number of cases where, you know, when you put something on Facebook, you put something on LinkedIn, the whole world gets to see it.
Yeah.
So if you're bragging about being on a roller coaster, that's not good in a car accident case. So just be very careful what you're putting on social media.
Yeah, not
used as evidence.
Not a good idea.
No.
Stay off. Depending on how bad you want to get the settlement covered.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Michael LaRocca.
Yes, it was mentioned before, the 14-day rule. Even if you feel you have no symptoms whatsoever, I'm great, thank God, I'm fine. Get your spine checked somewhere. You have to go to a walk-in clinic. You have to go to your personal physician. Somewhere you have to get checked on so it's documented. So that even 6 months later, you start experiencing symptoms, you already have established that you had an examination within a 14-day period, and you can continue care after that point.
Awesome. 14-day rule. Make sure you get covered. Make sure you get checked out by an MD if you are in that situation. Akash Patel.
Well, you know, it's election season coming up. August 28th is the primary for a lot of our elections statewide too. But be informed. Be an informed citizen. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you know where your voter poll is, voting location is, and make sure that you know who you're going to go to vote for before you get to the polls.
Right.
And there's a lot of articles on different candidates now, and you're going to hear a lot of people saying, "Well, this candidate, I don't know him, so I won't ask." Well, reach out, and you can reach out to me or any other candidate. But my website is patel2018.com, and I ask all my friends, and even if you disagree, reach out, figure out what you want. Let's talk. Let's have a discussion.
Yeah, it's so important. So many people want to be keyboard warriors on Facebook, or and have all these gripes and complaints, but they don't engage in the process. They're not engaging in the process. They're not doing that checkup. Finding out where each person stands, what do they support, and they'll a lot of times just go to the booth and just do either the Democratic side or the Republican side. Just do filling in the bubbles, going down the line, not knowing what the actual issues are, and sometimes too it's a bit confusing when you get in that booth, the verbiage, the language on these these initiatives, some of the initiatives. Can you speak to that?
The constitutional amendment, we're gonna have a lot of constitutional amendments, but they're worded so to trick you. I mean, that's really why you see commercials and ads on either side. So my suggestion to any one of you is get a sample ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Learn what the ballots stand for. You can always go on the Constitutional Revision Commission website and find out what these initiatives actually mean, their actual language, and study it. And then also read the newspaper, see what the editorial boards are saying about each side of it, and then talk. And this is what I love. I mean, you're an attorney and you're a doctor, and you always have professional organizations that tell you and suggest who you should vote for.
Right.
PACs or committees or endorsements. Talk to your peers. I mean, you might be competitors in the practice, but you're also peers in the industry.
Right.
So you're in real estate.
That's a good point.
The Realtor Association is going to say this candidate is probably better for us to get elected.
Right.
And talk to them and see if they agree. And it's good to have open debate. Public service is about making sure the public is represented to the best interest of you.
Right. Yeah, I like it. And that's the idea is we have these term limits, the changing of the guard from some are based on by 2 years, some are every 4 years. And that's a time for the public to make their opinion and say, hey, here's what we saw going on. This person's going to support this particular ballot or this particular cause. And then you can take your time and effort and energy and vote there. You can get out and petition. There's a lot of things that you can do, but I think so many times in our culture, people just sit back and complain about things instead of number one, fully understanding the actual argument. An example that here's a prime example of one that I saw years ago. The woman that spilled coffee on her lap.
Yeah.
She spilled coffee in her lap, and you ask people, "Oh yeah, stupid lady. She, coffee's hot. Duh." Most people initially had that response, not knowing that's wrong. The McDonald's, they didn't realize that McDonald's was warned almost 1,000 times. Your coffee is radiator scalding hot coming out. Please, they had call after call after call. So all this stuff comes out, and then it was basically a thing saying that we're going to limit tort reform. Most people don't know what a tort is.
Yeah.
So my point, without going down a long bunny trail there, is that your initial reaction may not even be relevant. It might be the wrong thing to think about. So you really have to research, be informed, and
get the whole story. Yep.
Yeah, get the whole story and find out. And then the other side of it too is like Stephen Covey talked about. We all want to have this sphere of concern that we think about and we see and we can maybe go vote on, but really, if you narrow it down, you have a sphere of influence. What can I actually change? What can I actually influence? And I think that's reaching out, like you said, to your peers, reaching out to your family, making sure they're on the right page of, whatever you believe or what they believe and how they might be able to make a difference.
And you mentioned the money part. I don't talk about this a lot, but I've raised the most money ever for a first-time candidate, over $430,000.
Wow.
But when I tell people, they said, "Oh, what's your secret to your success?" I'm like, well, I have friends in business who want change.
Right.
And I ask for money when I go to fundraising events, but other people host those fundraising events. So really now I'm just looking to meet as many people as I can to help me get petitions to get on the ballot. So so the way to get on the ballot, you either pay a big fee or you get 3,000 signatures from people in the community. So I got Jim signing one after the show today.
Nice.
So that helps me. So I need one less. But people always meet politicians who first thing they say, "Hey, I'm running for office. Can I get a check?" And that's not how it should be. You should get to know the person, get to know their issues. And then if it comes to, "Hey, would you mind donating?"
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be money. It could be time, because you need volunteers.
Yeah.
What's going to win the election? Not money, votes.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the most important thing people forget.
Yeah. Getting the voters out. So what's the tip there? How do you get the voters out? How do you position yourself to receive those votes?
So that's what I'm doing as when I'm talking about knocking on doors. But beyond that, I'm actually going to associations, neighborhood associations, and speaking and just introducing myself in the back and saying, if you guys have issues, I need to know, because if I get elected, or hopefully I'll get elected, I can fix them when I'm in service. But don't wait till I get elected, then call me, and then it's just too late. I want to know now what your issues in the past are. So to real estate, to construction, I mean, some of the issues are permitting. We're in a digital world, and some of our permitting applications are not online.
Yeah. It's craziness. That's a good point. There is some crazy bureaucratic and just things that haven't been challenged.
Right.
That's the thing. They haven't been challenged in so long that the status quo just rolls along.
And we as a community are better than that.
Yeah.
We need to elect people who are going to represent us the best.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's important to realize and remember, again, we've had Buckhorn on the show, Kreisman, we had Baker, we had Creticus, Clearwater, and they all talk about that we're competing as a region. It's not Tampa versus Clearwater versus St. Pete. It's Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater versus Austin, Texas versus what is the North Carolina that's a hotbed?
Charlotte, always home with Charlotte.
Yeah. So those are some of our competitors when it comes to competing as a region, and it's super important that we work together to improve our area, keep the Rays local. Let's keep the sports teams here. Let's keep investing in infrastructure. Hey, great show today. I want to thank Attorney Jason Cobal for coming in, Dr. Michael LaRocca, and Akash Patel. Thanks so much. Great content today, and we really appreciate you listening out there. Maybe you're watching on our TV show on WeBeam TV. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up some leftover food, some clothing, hand it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community. Another way you can do it is volunteering your time, maybe stopping into a nursing home, going and saying hello, talking to some of the elders in there, and finding out what their challenges were and some of their life lessons, letting them talk. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback. network, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.